Hey you guys, it's me Vanessa, and I have my twin sister with me today. Youre, introduce yourself.
Youre.
Okay, that's my sister. And I wanted to start a new topic. I want to do like a chit chat Fridays with you guys because I love to talk and I feel like socializing with others is really important. So today's topic is gonna be what it's been like being in RSP and being in SDC. And so it hasn't been easy. It's been a road trip. Not a road trip, it's been a roller coaster. It's definitely taught us a lot, but we're gonna get into the video and we're gonna explain to you guys more. So first we're gonna explain to you guys what is SDC, because not a lot of people know about it. So SDC is a special day class, a self-contained special education class that provides services to students who intensive needs that cannot be met by general education programs or RSP, and occupies more than 50% of students a day. So that's what SDC means. SDC is more where like you need a little bit more help than I would say regular students. And I'm getting a little emotional already just talking about it. So now she has SDC, I have RSP, which they're very similar but different at the same time. Yeah. So I'm gonna pull up the definition.
SDC is like lower than RSP. RSP is a little bit higher than SDC. So yeah, I should explain to you about RSP.
So RSP is the Resource Specialist Program. It's a program that helps children who qualify for special education services. The program is designed to give support to children with learning disabilities and give them strategies to help them with successful in their education, to be successful in their education. So that's what RSP means. It's just a shorter term than what I just said. Just like SDC, it's a shorter term for special day class. So, growing up, I was diagnosed with RSP when I was in first grade. And, you take... I'm gonna let you speak on your SDC. Okay. So, RSP has really, growing up in okay, so growing up in elementary, and, I had regular classes in elementary. And, this video might be more than 25 minutes long, depending. I can make it to 2 parts if you guys would like. So growing up in elementary, I didn't feel different. I felt normal because we were all in the same class. There wasn't no categorizing like you have to be in this class. You need to be in another class because you have you're different. And so I started realizing that I was a little bit different like in 5th grade. I remember from 1st grade up until 5th grade that I would get pulled out of class. And I would see that I was the only one in my class and everybody else was just sitting there. When they were there, they already knew that Vanessa had to leave the class at a certain time. And she had to go somewhere else, So it wasn't until 5th grade that I was like, okay, something isn't right. Like, why am I always getting pulled out of class? Why am I always going to a different class with a smaller group of people and learning different things? And I just didn't understand. It wasn't until 6th grade that I fully understood. Now this is the point where I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm different. And letting you guys know, there's nothing wrong with being different, but it's just how everything played out for me where I was so in shock, Okay, so I was in 6th grade, you're trying to figure yourself out and you're finding new friends and what group you fit in and who are your teachers and how your teacher's going to respond to you. And so I moved on to 7th grade. I found my group of friends. I moved on. I went to 7th grade. And I remember we only had 2 classes, which was PE, and then the rest were like the one teacher. For me, it was just for one teacher. I had them for social studies, science, English, math, I had them off. I had that same teacher for like all those periods. And then I started realizing, you're going to go to this class and you're going to go to this class. And I was like, okay, I got my books. I would take my books. And then they're like, okay, you're going to leave your books in this class. And I'm like, what do you guys, because I remember every year they would have me test. And it's called the CELT. And the CELT is a test where they kind of see if you still need the support, if you still need the help from the special programs. I believe you have to rank a 4, and if you don't, you have to stay in those programs. So I was always really close, but unfortunately, I never got out of those programs. I always stayed as a 3. I'm really close. But okay, so I started getting out of the classroom, and I started realizing that I wasn't really going back to my old classroom that much. And my friends started questioning me. They started saying, Vanessa, where have you been? How come we hardly see you now? You're hardly not here in this classroom. And so I started asking my RSP teacher, and she's like, oh, this is going to be your new classroom. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, that was my classroom. That was my teacher. That teacher has taught me a lot. And, I would literally beg my teacher, can you please take me back? I don't want to be in that class. Like, I'm not dumb. And so I would beg him. I would be like, Mr. Soul, his name was Mr. Soul. He was such a, nice guy.
He's toys?
Yeah, I think so. And so I would be like, Mr. Soul, please let me come back to your classroom. Please. I would almost cry because I didn't want to be in the other classroom, because I didn't want to feel less of a person, because I would see all my other friends staying in that classroom. So, I finally got over it, and I had to realize that I had to stay in that special education class, and I couldn't go back to regular class. I couldn't be in a classroom with 36 students to 40 students in a classroom. I had to be in a classroom with at least 25 to 15 students in my classroom. So for me, it was hard. It was different. But as I grew older, I started realizing that if it wasn't for those classes, I wouldn't have graduated from high school. I wouldn't have met the wonderful people that I met in my, during my my high school and my middle school years. Because and the cool thing about being in those classes is that it's kind of like, you're going to see those people again. For sure you're going to see them in one class. That's a fact. Yeah. You're going to have them for a class. And sometimes you may be stuck with the person that you don't like, but you're going to have to deal with it. Literally. I mean, that's the great part. And we get parties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But those are the little treats. But still, so, I mean, like I tell people, there's nothing bad with being in RSP. It's a great, sometimes, okay, so now go back, okay, my senior year of high school. I was still in the special classes and whatever. And, I would cry to my mom. I'd be like, I want to be in regular classes. I need to go. I need to be in regular classes. I don't deserve to be in these special education classes. I am not dumb. And for the longest, I was like, I'm so stupid. I am so dumb. I am not worth it. I was depressed. I feel like I wasn't human to the point. I was really depressed. And then, so finally my senior year came, and I got the news that I was going to be placed in regular English, which is college prep English. And I was like, oh my god, I'm not ready for this. I was freaking out. I'm not ready for this. I'm not going to pass. Mind you, I had Spanish too, which was regular, right? It was a regular class of 36 to 40 students. Excuse me. And I was like, okay, I did it with my other classes. I could do it again. And so that really stuck to me. I can do it. I can be a normal student. And sometimes I would be sitting in the normal class, and I'd be like, some of these kids need to be in RSP. I don't need to be in there. Some of those kids need to be in RSP because most of the time the parents don't speak up, and most of the time the parents are afraid to ask questions. So that was my experience. And then Youre going to talk about her SDC and what it's like for her to be an SDC.
Okay. Okay, so SDC for me was, what was it? Because I don't know how, Because I remember I walked in the classroom and the teacher, she's like, oh yeah, we're gonna sit here. And then like there were like different groups where we would go to with, like it would be English, like we would go with the English group, and then we would go to like math, we would go to reading and like all that stuff. And it was like, I don't know, like it was hard for me because I always thought that like, you know.
Okay. Breathe. You can. Like what?
Because I would always tell my mom, like, I don't want to be in these classes. Like, I always wanted to be, like, in regular classes. I always tell my mom, like, Mom, put me in a regular class. I want to be in a regular class. I want to know what it's like to be in a regular class. And she's like, no, you have to be in there. You have to be in there. You don't have no choice. And then,
Okay, let's take a break.
okay, so and then the teacher would call me out, and then I would have to go to their class, and then I don't know, I would learn so many things. I'm like, what is this or what is that? And then like they had to explain it to me, and then what else? Oh, and I would even like sometimes like I would even close myself in my room, and I'm like, I'm so stupid, I'm so dumb, and this and that. And then my mom's like, why are you crying? And I told them like, cause I don't want to be like, I don't want to be in those classes. I'm tired of being in those classes, being with the same teacher since all the way to my first grade, all the way to 8th grade, I think it was. I was always with the same teachers, and I'll get so tired of them. Like, I want to go to different classes and, like, explore, you know. And then the teacher would be like, yeah, one day when you get to middle school, it'll be like that. When you get to high school, it's going to be like that. And so when I got into middle school, that's when I, I would be in the same class every single day with the same people that I knew. And it would be like, it'll get so tiring. Like, I'm like, no, I want to go to different classes. Like, it was so annoying. And then when I got to high school, that's when I started going to different classes. And I'm like, I used to like, I'm like, oh, I like this. I like going to different classes because that's what I always wanted to do. And so when I started going to different classes, and I realized that I wasn't with the same teacher every single day, it was more like, it was like fun for me to do that because I was so tired of being like in the same classroom every single day and going to school and being just there. Like, I'll go to like break, I guess, and then like I have to go back to the same classroom. Like, it was so boring to me. And then like I would go to speech too, and I didn't like speech at all. I didn't want to go, but I had to go because I just had to go. I needed to go. But sometimes I'd be like, no, I don't want to go. I want to stay in class because whoever we're doing something fun, I wanted to stay in class. I didn't want to miss out. So like I would go to speech, and the lady would tell me like, what is this word? What is that word? I'm like, I know what it is. Like, like you don't have to tell me. And they say, okay, you're doing good. And all we would do was play games. That's all we would do. So this was 8th grade. My mom was like, no, you're going to get out of it because all you guys do is play games. So, okay, so I finally got out of there. And then I was in Read 180. Which Read 180 is like, you go to like different groups but in the same classroom. And you go to the computer and they like have like a lot of like words and a lot of stuff that you can like learn. And we would read books every single day, and I don't like reading at all, or I hate testing too. So when they would tell me we needed to test, I hated it so much that I would go through the answers like really fast, and she's like, "You're done already?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm done." And then she's like, "That was fast." And I tell her, I'm like, "I told you guys I hate testing, and I love to talk in class." So I would always in high school, I would always get kicked out from one of my teachers because I talk so much and she would get so mad at me. And then I'm like, but I need to talk because I had a friend. I'm not gonna put her name out there, but I had a friend, and I was with her 9th grade year, and we were best friends, I guess you can say. And what you call it? She's all like, oh, she'll be like, yeah, Youre, you know, I'm not in special ed anymore.
And that's another thing with special education. There's not just one teacher in there most of the time. It's actually 2 or 3. 2 or 3 teachers that come around and they help you with your homework. They help help you with your test, certain tests. They help you with like what classes you need to get next year, what type of materials you would need. So those are the perks of being in special education. You do get a lot of benefits, educational wise. So I mean that was like a really great blessing for us because it taught us to value people more and it taught us to respect people more, and because their job isn't easy. I mean, imagine they have to go over 100 IEPs, 100 meetings almost every month of the year, the school year, which is a lot. And I'm very thankful to having those teachers and for having those people that are motivated and say, you know, you can do it. Don't put a label on yourself, because it's not you shouldn't be labeled, and you shouldn't have to feel like you're lower than someone just because of your educational, um, you know, kind of like downfalls, I guess. No, not downfalls. Kind of, I don't know. But so with me, I have the reason.
Okay, so and then I told her, I'm like, so that means you're not gonna graduate with that class? And she's like, no. She's like, I'm not gonna graduate.
Now the reason that I am an RSP is because I have
because I'm also an STC because I'm deaf 1 year, so that's what like I guess
kind of like
it kind of slows me more.
Mm-hmm.
I guess so I have to like it was so annoying to the point that I was so used to sitting in the front, and my friends would always tell me that come sit in the back with me, come sit in the back. And when I would do that, I would get in trouble because I'm not supposed to be sitting. I'm
not supposed to be sitting in the back of the classroom because she can't hear from 1 ear, so they wanted to sit in the front of the classroom so she can hear the teachers better. But knowing her, she doesn't listen, so of course she would go all the way to the back of the class and she would get in trouble. You know,
No,
and she would get mad because she's like, "Why can't I sit in the back with my friends? Why can't they sit in the back?"
Because I used to like I hated that so much. I'm like, I would always look back, and I would look back. And I'm like, I want to sit in the back. I want to sit in the back. And then she's like, no, you can't sit in the back. I'm like, but I'm doing my work. Like, I was like the first one to finish my work because I'm always like, I talk and I mess around and stuff, but I still finish my work. And there's my other friends, and they would never finish the work, and I would be the first one to finish. And so that's why they would always be like, Youre, come sit in the back or in the front. And then there was this.
So I am in. I'm still in RSP. She's still in SDC. Going into college, we're still gonna have. We're still gonna have that label with us until we're out of college. And so that's why. Oh, and another thing that made my high school year so miserable at some points was when they told me you can't go straight to a 4-year college. And I would ask them over it, and I would be like, why can't I go to a 4-year college? You know, why can't I go to a 4-year college? Like, I'm just like everybody else. I'm not dumb. At that point, I was like, I'm not dumb. I'm smart. I can speak for myself. I can stand up for myself. I can do so many things for myself. And I'd be like, no, I'm gonna go to a 4-year college. Like,
she was determined. I was determined. She's like, Mom, I want to go to a 4-year college, but they told me I have to go to community college.
Yeah. So when you're in special education, they make you practically. They make you go
to. You have no choice.
You have no choice. They make you go into a community college, which is a 2-year college. And so I was like, no, like, I'm going to a 4-year college. Like, I don't care what they say. It's my stubborn self. And no, I'm very stubborn. I'm very stubborn.
Annoying.
Like, when I want something or when I say something, I'm sticking to it. And I think that has helped me get to where I am today. But that's not the point. So, I'm going to a community college, which I don't have a choice. But my career, I chose to be a special education teacher, to help the students like myself, to tell them they can do it. I want to be that motivator in them, you know, because we've had teachers where they look down on us like if we're dumb. Like, they literally talk to us like if we were 5 years old.
I had a teacher, an English teacher, that she does not like me. I have no clue why she doesn't like me. Okay, I need to tell you this.
Hold on. No, because this is what they always they would talk to us like if we were dumb. They would talk to us like if we were five years old. And outside of that, they would always say, "Oh, you know," they would talk behind our backs.
Oh my god!
All the time, all the time. Not just us, like personally, all the students, like
they'll go like during the lunch break, they'll go to other teachers
and they'll
start talking about
all of us, like. And I'm not pretty sure that that's all the teachers do, but it shouldn't be that way. It's not nice. So I am an RSP because I have an auditory processing disorder, which means that if a teacher's speaking to me and giving me a lesson and just talking to me, I don't really capture it. You have the same auditory processing disorder as me, huh?
I think so.
Yeah, you do.
I do?
Yeah. Because most of us have the auditory processing disorder. Because
if you tell me like, okay,
this is why I'm gonna explain. This is why I'm gonna explain.
Okay, go. But I have a different part than you do. I have a different vision than you do.
No, so processing disorder means when your teacher's talking to you over and over, just give like they're talking to the whole class, and you're sitting there with a blank face, not knowing what, like you don't understand what they're saying. You understand what they're saying, but you can't capture it. So you need them to either draw it out for you, explain it to you step by step, break it down for you step by step, in like slow motion practically. Pinpoint every detail because you don't understand. Like it's hard. Like literally, I would get frustrated with myself. She would get frustrated with herself because
I still do.
Yeah, because we would be like, why don't we understand this? Like, why do other people understand it and I cannot understand it? Like it would get underneath my skin.
Me too.
And so that's our disorder. We have processing disorder, a processing auditory disorder. And I think that's why I enjoyed art because it's not something that you have to be really spoken to. You just draw. And so that's why I like it. Oh, now next topic. So Youre, she wants to be a
sign language interpreter.
And why do you want to be?
Okay, I want to be in it because, like myself, that's hard of hearing, and like it's so awesome to me. When high school, my mom told me, so you should join sign language. I'm like, no, I don't want to, and then she's like, yeah, join it because it'll benefit you in the long run. So I'm like, when I joined it, I was like so excited to learn, and I loved it so much. Probably because it's in me, I don't know, but I loved it so much, and I don't know, I feel like it's like all my cousins and all my families are like, oh, now she's gonna get money and this and that, she's gonna get paid a lot of money. I'm like, it's not just, I don't want to do it for the money. I want to do it to help other kids that are just like me, that like suffer, you know, like it's hard hearing from 1 year. It's annoying knowing that every single time. It's funny because every time they go to my right ear, every single time with no foul. And I'm like, no, you guys, I can only hear from 1 ear, so you guys are going to have to go to the left because it's the only ear I can hear out of. Yeah. And my friends are like, they'll be like, oh, Youre, do you wish to hear from both of your ears? And I'm like, yeah, I wish I could, but that's how God wanted me to be, so that's who I am, right? And that's it.
Yeah. So, we just want to tell you, like, you're not alone if you are in special education, if you are an RSP, SDC, you're not alone. We completely understand you. I get to people, it's hard, but it's not impossible. And going back to our family, growing up, everybody in my family was in regular classes. My two older siblings, they were in regular classes. They didn't know what it was until now that we're older. They understand a little bit better. Some family members used to kind of make fun of us. They would be like, you're not in special education, like, you're not stupid. And there it goes back with the kind of, I consider bullying now that I know what it is. And I had one cousin, I'm not gonna say names, but he was like, oh, what are you in again? I was like, RSP. And then he's like, oh, what does that stand for? And I was like in I was like in 6th grade, and I still kind of wasn't sure what the full term meant. And then I was like, I don't know. I was like, do you know what it means? He's like, yeah. He was like, retarded, stupid people. I went home that day. I cried my eyes out. Because, you know, he didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what it meant, and how he said it to me wasn't right. And I just felt so down. I didn't want to I didn't want to go to school sometimes. I wanted to stay home. Like, it was bad. And some family members, they would just laugh, like, oh, you guys are not dumb. If you can do this, why can't you do that in class? You know, back in our country, we don't have that. Back in our country, we're all the same. Well, unfortunately, you're not in the United States of America. You were in your Guatemala. Ew, why did I say it like that? I speak Spanish.
Guatemala.
I speak Spanish. Okay, Guatemala. And so they don't understand that.
There.
Yeah, they don't.
Except our cousins.
Yeah, so they don't understand that. But they've gone to appreciate us more, and they don't treat us like they used to treat us when we were little, because we are smarter than them, and that's the good thing. Like, sometimes we are smarter than them.
Sometimes I feel like I'm so dumb. Like, I literally feel like I'm dumb. But when I talk to my cousins and I actually tell them, like, the truth and all that stuff, I'm like, oh, I'm not dumb. I'm actually smart. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I feel dumb sometimes.
Yeah, so, I mean, you're not alone in this. You're not the only one.
You always gonna have helpers in class.
Yeah, you're only
ask for help.
Oh, and another thing is my thumb. I don't know if you guys have seen in, like, my makeup videos. My thumb, it's kind of, like, deformed, I guess you would say. It's not normal. And that's something that I would get also bullied for at school. There was this one boy that he was like, oh, because we had gone to the same elementary, but I went to a different school district. And so we had the same class for our freshman year. And he was like, hey, aren't you the twin? And I'm like, yeah. He was like, who was the one with the ugly thumb? And I was like, no, he didn't. No, he did. Did he just say it come? Like, no.
Yeah, they would even tell me on my neck. They'll be like, did a dog bite you? Did a snake attack you? There's something like that. I'm like, yeah. No, they did not attack me.
So I was...
marks. No, the baby.
And so then I was in art. And there was this one drawing that I had to draw my hand. And I'm a right-handed person, so of course I'm going to draw with my right hand. And my teachers are like, no, like, I need to see the proportions of your hand so I could help you draw it. And I was like, no, like, I don't want to show. She's like, why don't you want to show me your hand? And I was like, because I don't want to. And then she's like, and there was a group of kids around me. There was a group of kids. And
I was in art too, but I got out of it.
Yeah, and so she's like, let me see your hand. She's like, which hand are you drawing? And I was like, my left hand. And then she's like, why does your thumb look so big? And I was like, my heart was racing at that point. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, it's really, So I was like, and I raised it. She's like, oh my gosh, like, what happened to your thumb? You guys, that was, I cried to my mom. I'm such a crybaby, but that, and then I understood that she didn't know I had that problem.
It wasn't her fault.
Yeah, it wasn't her fault. She didn't know. She was curious like everybody else in the world, right? And so later on, I was like, oh, I explained to her. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. And she moved on, but she's still alive. But she moved to a different state, which I love her. I love you, Miss Gator. But so, yeah, that's our journey. That's our story of
STC, which is our special day classes.
Oh, wait, we're not done. Okay, so going back to people telling you that you don't look dumb, that you don't look like you belong into those classes, I would get a lot, I would tell my friends, once I was getting more comfortable with telling my friends of certain classes that I had, because, they would look at our schedule and be like, hey, what's that class? Like, nobody else that I know has that class. So then that's when I started explaining to them my whole situation, and then they're like, you don't look dumb. And I was like, what did you expect me to look? And they're like the kids in the wheelchair, like the kids, the handicapped kids.
They'd always picture, and then they would make fun of them too.
Hold on. Yeah, they would make fun of them. They're like, you don't belong in those classes. Like, you're crazy. Like, you're not disabled. And I stood up for them. And I was like, you know what? I was like, you don't have to look a certain way to be in a certain class, to be in a certain place, to be in a certain, to be in a certain crowd. Because, no, you don't put labels on people. You don't discriminate people. You don't call people out for what they look like, for what their disability is, because we all have problems. We all have our flaws.
And I always told, when they would make fun of them, I would always say, I'm like, what if you guys were like that? You guys wouldn't have to make fun of you.
Mm-hmm. And so I remember in 5th grade, we had this little area where we actually had to go to different elementaries because they didn't offer the classes that she needed. So we went to different elementaries. No, it was pretty awesome. So I remember that there was these kids, and I was in 5th grade, and you can go help and volunteer. The handicapped. I hate saying handicapped. I hate saying disabled, but that's what that's what their name. I don't like saying those names, but I remember I would go help, and I would always get a pencil when I was done helping at the end of the day. And I remember this one girl. She was so cute, like the cutest little thing ever. And she was like, "I want you to stay with me." Like she had problems like walking. She had problems walking, and so I would hold her hand and I would walk with her. I would put her on the swing, and I would do all these things. And then and then high school came, and then there was another a young girl named I'm not saying her name, but she came into our art class, and she was in a wheelchair, and people like looked at her weird, like what is she doing in this class? And I was like, oh no, I was
And we
like,
were like the only ones helping her.
yeah. I was like, you can come sit with us. Like I was like, we don't bite. She was like, okay. And so she kind of had like time speaking a little bit, but we could understand her. And so she was awesome.
She was nice.
Excuse me. She taught me to have more respect for them and to support them more. She was really nice. And she graduated with us.
Yeah,
She graduated. I was so excited.
You saw her? I saw her too.
Yeah, she looks so pretty. But yeah, you guys, this concludes our video for today. Friday Chit Chats with Vanessa. I hope you guys enjoyed. And please like, comment, share, and subscribe like always. And yeah, bring your friends. Bring your friends. Tell them about our journey. Tell them about my chit chats, my beauty, the challenges. We're gonna have a challenge pretty soon. I'm so excited. I'm either gonna do it with Youre or with my cousin, depending who I want to do it with. So, like always, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and see you guys in my next video. Bye.